It's that time again. Welcome to the Steel City Roundtable, your home for real stories from real people, where everyone matters and all stories deserve to be told. Enjoy the show. Before we get down to the meat and potatoes of the show, we have to go over our legal disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Steel City Roundtable are for entertainment and informational purposes only. We are not professionals or affiliated with any professional organizations. If you are in crisis, dial 911 immediately and seek professional help. And here are your hosts. Hey guys, welcome to the Steel City Roundtable. My name is Mark Nebo and I'm one of your hosts. Welcome again for following us. I want to introduce some important people to you. To my left is my lovely host, Kels.
Hi guys, what's going on? Hope everybody had a great week.
And to the far left is my friend of 30 plus years. He makes bad decisions, Mr. Steve Jeran. Thanks for coming out, brother.
Worst decision I made was...
And that's the end of the show. We're going to stop right there.
Shut everything
We
up.
also have a friend of mine checking in from this little state called New Jersey. They say it smells a lot because there's a lot of trash out there. Miss Dawn Morton.
Hey, Dawn, you're on camera.
Oh, great. It's nice to be here from beautiful New Jersey. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming in. Dawn and I met about a year ago. And then our last person, and of course most important, is our technological guru, JB.
What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Happy to be here today.
So basically today is my 1 year anniversary of being sober. I got sober.
Congrats.
Thank you. I got sober on May 5th of 2023. So today it's just I brought some friends out here to sit and talk, and we're just going to go and see what happens. Let's go right to Dawn, though, because she has to leave because she's got more important things to do than spend time with me.
That is so not true. Sorry.
So Dawn, you got the floor. Say what you want. Ask what you want.
Say what I want. I'm really excited to be here. When I met you a year ago, both of us were going through our own sort of reinvigoration, if you will, of looking for a place to really find ourselves. And for me, I was at a point in my life where I was letting my depression and PTSD sort of overtake me, and found a home with friends that were going through different struggles but similar struggles, and honestly can say that I made it through there because of you, and value our friendship so much. I can't be prouder of you.
Well, thank you, Dawn. That check is in the mail for those nice comments. No, folks. So Dawn and I met down in Florida, and she was going through some personal matters, and I was just a drunk out of control. And I remember walking in there, and I was just shaking and confused and angry. I think Dawn remembers. I wanted to kill everybody.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I met Dawn like pretty much the first day, and we became BFFs right away. We would hang out at night. We would all play cornhole, talk, sit by the fire. And then she left me, and it was like 3 weeks of trying to, get over the fact that like part of my family had left. So Dawn, I love you to death. And you're doing well as from what our conversation was the other day. You're doing pretty well now. I know you went through some rough stuff. If you don't mind me saying, your dad passed away. And for that, you're doing great.
Very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she's a tough chick.
Our condolences, Dawn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough. My dad was an alcoholic. We didn't have the best relationship, but you never want to see someone that you love suffer. And even though I didn't always like him, I loved him. And watching him go through that at the end was really hard. But to be honest with you, it was a little bit cathartic too, because I was able to come to peace with a lot of our relationship and how much I'm like him. Actually, being at TTC helped me learn a lot more about him.
Well, the Dawn I know now is different than the Dawn I met back in May. The Dawn I met in May would have let this finish her. This would have taken you out. You came out of this with flying colors. I mean, we had our conversations. Granted, we don't talk as much as we used to. I mean, when we got out of treatment, we were talking every week, sometimes every day, because we were both struggling when we got home, and she got home about 3 weeks before I did. But yeah, I mean, you've set boundaries, and you know what your triggers are, and you've done all the stuff that we learned how to do. So I'm so proud of you. Just being, because you're on your own out there, in Jersey. But I'm glad you could come here today.
He just said in Jersey like it was
Yeah.
a cuss word.
Jersey is a cuss word.
Yeah, that's because Mark's experience with Jersey has only been on our dreadful highways, and I live in a beach town. I love where I live.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
even get me started on the drive. I was doing 80 miles an hour down frickin' freeway into New Jersey, and this.
Sure it wasn't out of New Jersey you were doing 100 miles an hour?
No, I was going into New Jersey because we knew somebody there, and
Or you made a wrong turn?
nope, we knew somebody there, and there was a guy. He paced me the whole way on the highway, and he was pacing me and just staring at me. So I slowed down, and he'd zoom ahead of me, and then he'd slow down again and wait until I got back up to him, and then he'd pace me for like an hour. And I was like, "You people are weird out here."
Well, Dawn, I know you're pressed for time, but so is there any story that stands out from when we met or from our time together that you want to tell to completely embarrass me in front of all 27?
Do I have to only choose one?
You can say whatever you want. You've got like 12 minutes until you have to go.
No, I think I really can't think of an embarrassing story. If I'm being honest, Mark had a reputation for talking a lot, so
Talking a lot?
You're kidding
this is
me.
perfect for him.
Yeah, he does like to talk.
No, we had a good time sort of talking about everybody else that was there and trying to make our way through the politics of being in a place where everybody has their own sort of journey. I'd say, when we went back to visit everybody, and we were trying to hold on to some of the friendships that we had from there, that, unfortunately not everybody has come out of it with the same type of drive or has been as successful, let's say, in their recovery since then. But I think that trip, one, it solidified our friendship, but two, it helped us really see that it's okay that some of those friendships are not going to be as long-standing, right? I think Matt had said that when we were talking about one of the guys that I knew him for 30 days, and while we all thought he was going to be, one of the more successful ones, he wasn't. I knew from the beginning that you were going to nail this because you just had this look of determination and took everything so seriously, but with your bit of humor on the side, which helped, adding levity to certain situations. But how seriously you took it and how honest you were, right from the beginning. And a lot of people, it took a little time for them to ease into opening up in group sessions, but you went right in there. But you were also so supportive of other people, and that is what really stuck with me, and why we're still friends. I mean, when I had my little setback earlier, you were the first person I thought of that I had to talk to you, and you were the one who I knew was going to be able to help me get my head straight again. And I can't thank you enough. I'm so happy. I love you, brother.
I love you too. And the thing is, I couldn't have done it without you because when I came home June 18th and I was an absolute basket case and
Yes.
we talked every single night. I was talking to her. I wasn't talking to you guys.
No, you were a basket.
I was talking to her every day. And she helped me get through. And as time has gone on, we've realized that we don't need to talk every day. I mean, that's just part of recovery. Like you have that phase where it's like being a newborn. You're just learning how to do things over again, and you need that support network, like right there, when you need it, every time you need it. Mm-hmm. You can't live without it. Mm-hmm. And then when we went back in September, a couple things got solidified. It was our friendship with Matt and Hunter. And then it was you and me. I mean, honestly, Dawn, that's the first time I spent 3 days in a hotel room with a woman I wasn't trying to have sex with. So, I mean, what's that tell you? I mean, we're besties
Same.
for life. We're besties for life,
exactly.
and it's forged in fire.
Exactly.
Our relationship was forged in fire, depression, and everything bad. And to me, it just represents everything good in my life. So, listen, I know you got to go, but I love you. I miss you. I'm actually getting a little emotional right now, but. I can't wait till you come in. She's going to do an episode, and we're going to talk about her shit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
She's going to come in from Jersey, and we're going to see her soon. But listen, keep doing what you're doing. You know I'm here for you, and I love you.
I love you too. I can't wait to meet all of you in person. So I'll be
Looking
out
forward
there
to
this
it,
summer.
Dawn.
Me
All right,
too.
Dawn.
I can't wait to meet you. I need another girl here.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
We'll gang up on them.
Yes.
Bye.
See you, Dawn.
Bye, Dawn. Thank
Dawn.
you.
Hi, Dawn.
Nice meeting you.
That was awesome.
That was.
I love her. She's like
that
the
was
most.
really
she's,
cool.
she's the coolest person I've ever met. Like she was our den mom. She took. I mean, granted, I'm older than her, but she took care of all of us. You know, she would cook for us, and she would get together with us, and she always knew when we were struggling. And she and I it literally was that kind of relationship I've never had with the opposite sex.
Sure.
You know, it was just completely about supporting each other.
She seems so genuine.
She's amazing, dude. When she
Yeah.
comes in, you're gonna love her. You're gonna be calling her on the phone every week like I
I
do.
feel bad that she got to hear my outburst.
It's all right, dude. Yeah, John shit the bed earlier. He started yelling at me and shit. And I was like, okay,
I
cool.
cursed. I don't even do that anymore.
Yeah. He's a better person, but he's still human.
Yeah, we can all still stumble.
I can't have the two of them fighting because they're the ones with all the muscles and they'll hurt each other bad.
I would not want it to ever come to that.
Oh,
you
we'll
know.
never. It will never.
No.
So I made a promise today that I was going to give up the reins and not be in control. So, Kels, it's all yours.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. So, this is my BFF. He is my heterosexual life mate. He is. When I'm sad or when I'm doing something, like isolating or something like that, this dude is on me like white on rice. He does not play. And I'm the same with him. If I don't hear from him for a couple days, I'll call him at like 4 o'clock in the morning and be like, what are you doing awake?
Yeah, like normal people sleep when I'm up.
People
So,
sleep.
yeah, normal people sleep when I'm up. But
But I really want to hear about what got you to the point of going into rehab briefly. I don't want any of the sad, this is a celebration. This is a brand new life. You're a brand new person. It's not the same person. But talk about a little bit about the person you were.
Well, we'll go in a little bit of the darkness, but we won't go too deep. And Steve, feel free to jump in whenever,
yeah.
because he's been, like I said, I've known this dude for 30 plus years. We met in college. I was playing soccer, and I kicked his fraternity brother in the face. And
He
that's how we
deserved
met.
it.
Well, he did. That's how we met, and we've been friends ever since. But he's been there through everything that I've done, all the good, all the bad, all the shit storms that I've caused. So,
Several couches out windows.
yes.
Couches out window.
Oh,
out
okay. I want to
windows.
hear.
Out windows.
I don't want to hear about you being. I want to hear about the couches out the window.
So Mark would always move, and he was always a cheap ass and never would hire anyone. So there I am, driving out to Lancaster, driving to here, driving to there. And we always had a tradition. He always lived on the top floor, no matter where we were, and it was a pain in the ass to move. So the one time, it was up on the north side, I think it was.
Yeah, it was up on.
It was like towards McKnight.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time, now wife, she's like, what the hell are you two doing? I'm like, I just want to throw this thing right out the window. And he's like, let's do it. It was this giant sleeper sofa. Who in their right mind buys sleeper sofas? I still don't know.
I still do.
Yeah. And that's why I don't move them anymore.
I paid for my move this year.
Yay!
See,
golf
rebirth.
Clap, golf
A
clap.
rebirth.
Yeah, and to that moving company, you know who are? You suck. $1,700 to move a one-bedroom apartment into a one-bedroom apartment. I could have done that in half the time
Yeah.
by myself.
Well, you did do most of it.
Yeah, I know. So yeah.
So I looked at him like, this gun out the window. He's like, okay. 3 stories down. Hundreds of pieces. My wife's like,
That didn't work out.
That's exactly what it was supposed to
Wait,
do.
you wanted?
That's exactly what it was supposed to do.
You didn't want to keep it.
No.
Oh, okay.
I had it with that fucking thing.
so next time he's out in Lancaster, shit went south and I'm moving back because he lived on my couch from Friday to Monday morning at like 4 in the morning. He'd wake up, get in his car, drive to wherever he had to, get in a truck, drive to New York City, do his shit, do that all week. Friday, as soon as he got done, back in his car.
6 hours in the car.
To my wife and I's place in Mount Lebanon. Pass out on our couch all weekend. He was like my second girlfriend.
I told you he was going to say that. I told you he was going to say that.
My wife, he's like,
And
my
two-
wife's like, yeah, that's your girlfriend.
To Miss Alexa, you are an amazing human being, and thank you for putting up with my friend for so long. But yeah, I do still owe you guys a lot for all the things that you've put up with in the last 20-some years.
So several times we did throw couches out windows.
That's
It became tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but now if I throw it outside, I might hit a crackhead.
oh, I mean,
There's an
Good
abundant
chance.
amount of those. Yeah.
I mean,
When I drove by,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But yeah, so let's. I guess we'll go back to this. So
they deserve a chance too.
yes, they do.
They
That
would
could
just
have been you.
They
Yes,
would
they
just
do.
pop out of the bottom.
Everybody deserves a chance.
You know that part
Yes.
in Lost Boys when the little kid vampire jumps out of the bed and there's all those strings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The little crackhead would jump out and be like, "I'm Rick James, bitch." You know what I mean?
Oh my god,
I like it.
I'm gonna pee myself already.
Too much caffeine.
I'm already turning red, bro.
Yeah, I know.
So back to the addiction. So I started drinking when I was 17. I was all about sports until then. And I was very, very small human being growing up. And I was into sports, but I wasn't great at anything, but I was good at everything. And, you know, I finally went on my first date when I was like 17, and then I started dating a girl when I was 17, and you remember who that is. She introduced me to alcohol, and she didn't twist my arm, but I found for the first time, like I didn't feel like I didn't fit in. Like I was fun and I was personable and I was sociable. So drinking became an everyday thing pretty quickly for me. I used to hide it from my parents. I used to take it out of their cupboard. Dad, don't get mad. You know, so fast forward, I go to college, join a fraternity, and nothing against a fraternity, but now I had 40 other people just like me.
Sure.
You didn't hang out with those guys.
I drank with them.
You hung out with my
Yes,
fraternity.
I hung out with your fraternity, but the fraternity itself gave me the strength and the outlet to be more sociable. Like now, if I was acting like an asshole, there was 20 other dudes with me going, "Hi, he's so fucking funny right now."
Right.
You know, or we're gonna kick your ass if you argue with him. But yeah, I got in tight. That's when I really started to become friends with Steve. I used to hang out with his fraternity and another one, and I just drank every day. Like I even learned at 18, 19 years old that for me to study, what I would do is I would drink. I would stay up and drink all night, and I would study all night. And then when I took the test, I would be drunk because the way I learned is the way I remembered.
I've heard people.
And I graduated with honors from college.
My goodness.
Doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like I was a functional drunk at 19 years old.
Oh, I mean, I totally understand that because I was a functional addict. I graduated from my college with a 4.0, and I was trashed all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I did all kinds of dumb shit. I used to dive through bonfires head first. I used to dive down flights of stairs. All the dumb stuff that college kids do.
I was going to say, I've done that
can see
stuff
that.
too. We used to call it stair surfing.
Donkey Kong.
Stair diving.
Stair diving.
Donkey Kong. You get done at the end of the night, you got the empty kegs. You stand at the bottom of the stairs. They throw the
we
keg
did
down and you
that.
try to hop it up the stairs.
We did that.
And Keister.
Yeah, Keister.
We did that in college too. It's some things still go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
but the thing was, like, back then you don't think it's a problem, right? You're just drinking because you're in college and you're having fun with your friends. So fast forward again, I get out of college and now I'm trying to find a job. I'm still drunk. Now I'm experimenting with other things. Excuse me. And I just slowly but surely I started to rely on alcohol, but didn't know it. I really didn't see it coming. And then there was a period where Steve stopped talking to me for like a year because I was doing some things he didn't agree with. And I guess at the time you didn't feel like you could be around me or you didn't feel like it was going to change anything. So
What was going on was I was working on getting my master's in education, working on a teaching certificate. The last thing I needed was that on my record that I somehow would have gotten caught. I never did that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know if I went down that path, I wouldn't be able to control myself.
yeah,
Like, I have that mentality. I have a very addictive mentality that kind of stuff. I've heard great stories about it. Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I can't do it. Nope, not going to do it. I've been around it numerous times.
yeah. So I've got my best friend at that time, probably of like 10 years, not talking to me. And I don't think anything about it. I just go about my business. And then finally we had a coming to terms and, okay, you're doing this. You got to stop this. Okay, cool. And then we're good. So fast forward, I have some relationships and those don't go well. They end up, every time I had a bad breakup, it was right to the booze.
Of course.
You know, it was the way I dealt with everything. And by the time I was 30, I was a full-blown alcoholic. I mean, I was a fifth-a-day guy at 30 years old. You know, but I went through phases. You know, I went through times where I drank a lot, and I went through times where I didn't drink so much. You know, like I still had an off switch, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, I had one relationship, you know, the one that I should have married back in the day, but, you know, things didn't work out, and it was a bad breakup, and, you know, he was there for that as well, and, I mean, I was drinking easily a fifth a day, and then going and driving a truck to New York City every day, you know, getting 3-4 hours sleep, driving into New York City, all 5 boroughs in Long Island, you know, hungover, you know, and thought nothing of it.
It's amazing that you're even still alive.
I'm an idiot. You know, I'm just an idiot.
Well, I mean, like, you are, but
Yeah, so,
don't
you
agree
know,
so fast, right?
so then I moved back out to Pittsburgh, and now I'm staying on couches. I'm staying on my friends' couches because I don't know if I'm going to stay in Pittsburgh, but I'm here. So, like, I'm living on a couch in Slippery Rock. I'm staying on a couch in Northside. I'm staying on a couch here. Like, I'm a hobo. You know, granted, I had a job. I was making a paycheck, but I just didn't know what I was going to do with my life, so I didn't want to set roots again. And finally, I started driving a truck. You know, that was good, and then I became a police officer, and then, you know, a lot of shit happened there. You know, I had some friends get murdered at the department. Some other things went on, and, you know, I just never processed. It was a long-going pattern for me where when something bad happened, I never processed anything. You know,
Sure.
starting from childhood. Like, I didn't have the greatest childhood, you know, emotional abuse, all that bullshit, you know, whatever.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, so at a very young age, I started protecting myself by not dealing with things, just shoving them away, not to think of them again.
Sure.
And I use the analogy of a dumpster. It literally, at some point in my life, May 2nd or May 3rd of last year, that dumpster was full. I had no more room for any more bullshit.
It was before that.
You think?
Yeah. And the reason why I know that, last year my wife and I went on vacation. We actually left May 1st. And the week leading up to that, you and I were talking 2 and 3 times a day, and you don't remember these conversations we had. And I'm like, you got to go get help. It doesn't matter if you're going to lose your license or not. And my wife, being who she is, she's like, they can't take his license away because all these driving laws and whatnot. And I literally got on the plane and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see Mark again. I'm like, I hope I come back and he's still here. And I was fortunate about 4 or 5 days into the trip, my phone just starts blowing up because I finally had cell service. And I see this super long text chain. I have no clue who any of these numbers are. And it's all about Mark. He's in rehab. And I was like, thank God. This is what he needs. He finally pulled the trigger and went to rehab. And it brought an ease to me down there. And what's bad is I celebrated with a drink. I did.
Damn you, Steve.
I know.
You ruined the moment.
But I was like, thank God. And I remember we were pulling into what's that? I always forget. We named it Poop Island, but Anegada down on the British Virgin Islands. And the reason why we named it Poop Island is we'd stop at these places and we'd tie up the catamaran, and we had this big lily pad, a big massive float, and we'd tie it off on the back and we'd float around, have a good time. And I was coming back on the dinghy, and the wives were like, "Oh my God, it's a piece of poop!" And there was some poop floating through the water, hence Poop Island.
Checks out.
But I got back.
That's legit.
I got back on the boat and I went to my phone and I read all this stuff. I was like, went up onto the top deck, grabbed a carib, cracked it open. I was like, thank God he's still alive, and he's where he needs to be.
You never told me this.
there was going to be a time and a place where I'd tell you.
Oh, let's do it on the internet. Hey, hi guys.
Yeah.
Nothing like making me cry on TV.
Yeah. But I was very happy he was still there. So it took a huge weight off my shoulders. But that's why I knew your dumpster had been full. And it all happened a week or so going into that.
I mean, it took a week. It took less than a week for me to go from being functional, which is a word I freaking hate, because being functional is just me thinking that a balanced breakfast is, 12 ounces of whiskey, a 6-pack, and 4 Advil. That's what functional is for me. And so I would, fast forward, I was dating this female woman, whatever you want. I don't know why I just said female. It sounds so dumb. I was dating this woman, and it didn't work out, and it was very traumatic.
It's really good that it wasn't a male.
Yeah, no shit. There's nothing, just once.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
You
it.
do that
nothing wrong
once,
with
and
that.
do that once, and I never forget it.
Yep. We're always going to bring it up.
I don't know, but it was literally we broke up, and like 4 days later, I was sitting in my apartment. It looked like a bomb went off. I mean, there was bottles everywhere, there was cans everywhere. I was sleeping on the floor.
It was like that when I got there.
Yeah, when I got back, I had to have him. He picked me up at the airport, and he came back to my apartment, searched my apartment before I went back in, because I knew I forgot something. Because like literally, I was in such a hurry. Once I made the decision to go, I think it was like a day and a half later, I was on a plane.
And what was crazy is, like, I knew he was in a bad place, but I didn't realize he was good at hiding it. He was really good at hiding it. And
I lived right down the hall from you, and I didn't know it was like as bad as it was.
I went in there,
Really?
and there were bottles of vodka in random cabinets, one in the bathroom, one in each bedroom, one right next to this PS5, kitchen, whole spread. Then we got to the garage. I'm like, why are we going to the garage? And there were crushed cans all over the place. There was a 6-pack of some sort of seltzer. Back of his car was like, it's a rolling bar. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I filled up my car and went away. And it was like, he was hiding it better than I could never do that.
I mean, I've said it before. I'd get off work. I'd go right to a gas station down here. I'd buy like 2 8%, 24-ounce seltzers, chug those on the way home. And as soon as I got home, I would rip into a half gallon of vodka or whiskey, and I would drink that as fast as I could. It was down to where I needed 8 to 9 hours from the time I had my last drink until I could go to work and feel like I was okay to drive, even though I probably wasn't. But, legally, I was okay to drive because, no bullshit, I drank all day going to Florida, all day, and I blew like a .05 when I got there. Like, my body has a ridiculous tolerance for alcohol. It processes it so quickly that, I didn't think anything of it anymore. Like, it was just the way I lived. The way I functioned, and logic was gone. Like, this, all logical thinking is out the window. The only thing you have is emotion and fear. That's what I lived off of. I would blow you guys off. I would blow you and your wife off. I would blow all my friends off because I was so, my nerves were shot. My brain was shot. My body was shot. Like, I couldn't function anymore.
He could still golf like a motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I would drink. I would drink the whole day, remember? I would drink the whole day.
But you...
and, I had to hide it because of the lack of logical thinking, which, most addicts and alcoholics know that that's just part of the game.
Do you want a story of his logical thinking when he was hammered?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Is this one I remember, or?
You remember this one.
Boy.
You remember this one. I was living in D.C. He comes down. My brother-in-law lived about a half hour away from me. One of my good friends lived right around the corner. All 4 of us avid golfers. Him by far the best. All jump in my car, Ocean City, Maryland. We get there. He gets a bottle of 110 proof. I didn't even know they made it vodka. And he proceeded to drink it the entire day. Crushed it. We're sitting there drinking beers. He's crushing vodka. I'm like, okay, we have to play golf in the morning. I'm going to sleep. These 3 yachts go out bar hopping. This is probably 10:30 at night. And I cash in. I'm like, I'm done. They go all the way to the far end of Ocean City, Maryland. Probably 4 or 5 miles.
Was this when I was walking?
This is when you walked home
It's the only thing I remember is walking. I don't remember. That just came into my head just now.
from some chick's place. You got picked up. But this was rational thinking for him.
It made sense at the time, I guess.
And the best was the next day we were leaving and we were going in Jersey. No, it wasn't Jersey. Where was it? Delaware? I don't know. But it was hotter than balls. And this guy, he's like, my feet hurt. I'm taking off my shoes. And he proceeds to start playing golf barefoot, still shooting par. And we're like, what the hell? This is logical thinking for him. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know what time. And he walks 7 miles back to our place. Instead of saying, there's a taxi, I could call an Uber. Ocean City, Maryland, they have the buses running 24/7. Nope, I'm going to walk.
I need some cardio at 2 a.m., 7 miles.
I mean, I don't remember this, but apparently it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where I lived. That's the way I live. Like, there are so many things that I've done that I probably don't remember. Like just bad decisions and even not bad decisions, just not great ones. Like, I mean, taking my pre-workout and throwing 20 ounces of vodka in it and going to the gym.
Yeah.
Sounded like a great idea.
Smart.
Right? But yeah, I made a practice.
I've seen that.
You've seen it.
I've seen that. We'd live together sometimes. You had a tumbler,
Yeah.
pre-workout, and liquor.
I mean, it's just the way, and that's the sad thing about addiction. Like for me especially, it just became acceptable. I say it over and over again. I was comfortable living uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it just became part of who I was.
And
I didn't know anything better.
That's the perfect way to put it. That you get to the point of being uncomfortable, but it's comfortable for you. Functioning addict, functioning alcoholic. You need that liquor, you need that drug, and it gets you to a point where you can actually function better. You can go to work, you can have conversations with people, and you won't even notice it about them. You'll notice something's off, but you can't put your finger on it because they're not, you don't have the nystagmus, or you know what I mean? Something's, there's something that says, oh no, he can't be drunk. But
Well, I mean, ask him. For years, you couldn't tell when I was drunk.
Nope.
Unless I went over, like completely over, like 2-3 bottles deep, then I would start to show signs. But I literally, unless I got puckered up really bad, you never really knew I was drunk. You could tell I had a couple drinks, but like I was fine.
Yeah.
And it that's scary because that was a window for me. That was like, hey, I can do this now. Like this is just okay. Like I know people aren't going to know I'm drunk, so like I would come to your house hammered when I would come see you, and you didn't know. I would go everywhere drunk. The only place I didn't drink was work, and the only thing I didn't do was drink right before work. Like I said, 8-9 hours I was good, but that's the only thing because work was the only thing in my life that I took any kind of pride in anymore. Like I was such a piece of shit the way I lived, and we should never call ourselves names, but it's just a fact. I was such a piece of shit the way I lived. Like I would go 3-4 days without showering. I wouldn't do my laundry for a month. I wouldn't do dishes for like 3 weeks. Like trash would be sitting in there. Like I stopped giving a shit about anything and everything. The only thing that mattered to me was work because that's the only place I could go to actually take my mind off of what was going on for a split second. Yep. And then when I lost that, when I couldn't go to work anymore and I was suffering at work and I was shaking and I was, mentally gone and I'm at work for 14 hours and, it finally broke. Like I finally broke completely where, I woke up on my floor and I was crying, and I was convulsing, and I was shaking. And like I said, there's just beer cans and fucking bottles everywhere. And, I mean, you said I talked to you. I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I remember I called one of my friends from the police department. I was like, dude. And he's
called
like.
me before.
Yeah, and, at some point, I made a phone call to the treatment center. And at least made the phone call. but it still took a couple days until I could go. And those couple days were torture because I drank 24/7 those days. Like I drank from morning till night till I passed out, woke up, started drinking again because I couldn't deal anymore. Like my mental capacity was like that of a ferret. I couldn't function. I was done. And, you know, I tried to get sober in 2017 and I made it like a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, and then, but that time I wasn't serious about it. You know, we say a lot of times, you and I, when we have this show, we say a lot of times that you can't make anybody get well. Like they have to decide.
Yeah, it has to be you have to want it.
And I saw this shirt the other day and it kind of spoke to me. It said, I didn't know rock bottom had a basement.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I need that
Yeah,
shirt.
that's inspiringsobriety.com. She makes great clothes. Check her out. She's doing some great things. But, you know, I saw this shirt and I was like, yeah, I hit rock bottom in 2017. I didn't think I can go any further. And then 2023 happened and it was over. Like it was, if I kept going, I was going to end up dead.
Of course.
No, I don't know if it would have been by my own hands or an accident or health issues, but there was nowhere for me to go but further down the hole.
Sure.
So I had a moment of clarity. And I've said this before, it was an act of God. It truly was. I'm not a very religious person. I'm spiritual, but not religious. And I firmly believe that God does step in
Yes,
when
he does.
when it's completely out of your control and when you've exhausted every path that you think you have. And then I decided to get sober. And here I am.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll say, let's not talk about anything depressing anymore. That sucked. And I'm sorry you went through all that.
I'm glad my story sucks.
I hated it.
Hey, man, wait until I hit my
Kidding,
1 year.
bro, I'm kidding.
We've been talking about my life a lot lately. My story sucks, too. So, so we talked a little bit about recovery and how has this been, like this specific year, like how has this been different than last year, other than being a complete and total sod?
What does that mean?
Yeah,
It's harsh.
What does that mean?
What does sod?
What does that mean?
I don't
Can you
know
look that up? Jamie, look that shit up.
I don't have a throat.
Joe Rogan rocks, bro.
I have a computer right here, yeah. I actually don't know what that means.
Here we go.
So
Steve has his phone.
this year, well, initially when I got home, it was fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I came home June 18th, and I wasn't allowed to go back to work because I had to meet some protocols.
Sure.
So it was a month and a half before I got to go back to work.
Okay.
Excuse me. So for a month and a half, I went to 2 to 3 AA meetings a day. That's all I did is go to AA. Like I said, 2 to 3 times a day, sometimes 4. That's all I did. I was afraid to go golfing. I was afraid to go to the gym because I had drank every time I'd done that now. It was like,
It was a trigger.
I didn't know if I could do it on my own. So about 2-3 weeks in, I would go hit like a small bucket of balls and I'd make it through the day and I didn't drink. So I was like, okay, cool. And then,
What drunken sod?
Okay.
anyway,
Sidebar.
so yeah, I slowly reintroduced
Sidebar, Your Honor.
Yeah, my mother. I slowly introduced myself back into society.
Yeah.
And, you know, it took me almost a month before I even, like, saw him. And he's been there for me forever. And it was 4th of July. I went to your 4th of July party. You want to read that out loud?
A drunken person is drunk or is frequently drunk. Groups of drunken hooligans.
So that's
Hooligan!
That's what a sod is?
Yeah.
Is it Assad, like ASAAD?
No, like
Assad?
A-S-O-D. Like
S-O-D.
A space S-O-D. Is that what a sod is?
Yes.
I've never heard of it.
Good. Folks, write that down.
I read a lot. Sorry.
So once first time I went to his house, it was a 4th of July party. And he's like, do you want me to cover the liquor? I'm like, dude, no, I know what it looks like.
Because
I know where it is.
He'd come down, and next thing you know, there's a bottle of Evan Williams sitting up there. I'm like, I don't drink Evan Williams. Nope. Kneebone's been here.
Didn't we
Yeah.
talk about this? We talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But
that
he'd
you-
never touched my stuff.
No, have respect for other people's shit.
We said a couple weeks ago that you could have he mentioned this, that you could have put a blanket over it and he would have been like, that one's Jose Cuervo, the shape of that one,
Yeah.
that's Smirnoff, the shape of that one.
A lot of people can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so once I got past the first month and a half, I went back to work.
We actually golfed before my 4th of July party.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was...
I think it was like 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
I've been home like 2, maybe 3
Yeah,
weeks.
and we just needed to get out there and golf. And we do a majority of our life's decisions, he and I together, on the golf course.
Yes.
Another great story. He's like back in college. He's like, I want to get back in shape, this, that, and the other thing. So he starts taking all these vitamins. And we're at this golf course, and he's peeing off the edge. He's like, oh, my God! I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, look at this. And he turns while he's peeing, full stream, neon green piss. He's like, what's wrong with me? I'm like, you start taking vitamins? Yeah. I'm like, there it is. He's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it wasn't something else that I was worried about.
It didn't burn.
Yeah.
God.
You're worried.
I knew it. I knew we were going to hit the gutter. Where was it? It was right in front of us.
Yeah, it's just a step forward.
Yeah. But, like, it was time to get back on that golf course and do it sober. And we did that. Now, when I play golf with him, I did one time. It was a golf outing, and I had a DD. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated being sober
But you played well.
because I couldn't deal with people being drunk around me. Like, I was so irritated with people. There was him and my other buddy, a bunch of babies. I want to go home. I want to stay. I want to go home. I want to stay. I'm like, get in the fucking car.
Yeah.
We're leaving.
He was.
I'm like, that's the way I've been for the last 30-some years. You know? Yeah.
I'm treating you the way you treated me for a while. But now when we play, we don't drink, don't even have to. He gets Diet Coke.
Yes.
He's watching his girly figure.
Yeah, well,
I prefer Diet Pepsi. But.
that's okay.
You know what?
You also like North Korea.
And you also
What? No, I do not like North Korea. You don't put that out there.
and you like Hunt's ketchup.
Don't ever say that to me again.
I'll tell you guys a
That's
secret.
fighting words. Them's fighting words.
I'll tell you guys a secret.
Yeah. So,
I don't care what kind of ketchup it is. I buy mine at Aldi's.
Good for you.
That's
That's
awesome.
called red sauce.
It's bourbon.
red sauce.
It's red sauce.
Bourbon. It's German.
It's sugar and sugar.
I don't
red
eat
sauce.
ketchup. I buy it for my daughter. She goes through it. She dips like noodles and shit in.
So back to it. We finally get on the golf course, and I guess it's part of his recovery. He's like, he just starts babbling off all these apologies to me. I'm like, you don't need to do this. I'm like, I'm always going to be there for you. You know that. You don't need to apologize for what went on. That's in the past. I know what you went through. We're good. And he's like, I just need to do this and get this off my chest. I'm like, you need to do it. I'll be here for you whenever. And like, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the support network I have is phenomenal. I mean, honestly, I have like 5 friends in the world, and all 5 of them, they drink, but they're not me. So, you know, there's no awkwardness. There's no like, hey, you know, is this bothering you? It's like, you have a drink, have a drink. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that way anymore. But yeah, like without, you know, when I was in treatment, there was, like I said, the text string. Like, I would get my phone, like, I think, I get it like once every couple nights I make a phone call. And you weren't supposed to check your text message, but of course I'm like, you know, going in there.
Of course you were.
It wasn't like jail, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like we had freedom. They didn't stand over you like, you know, Hitler and sit there and fucking force you to do shit.
Because you never would have gone through with that.
No, I would have left. But yeah, I would check in. I would see all these messages from people, and I'm like, wow, fucking people really do give a shit. And like when I went into rehab, you know, you go into rehab thinking you're all alone. At least I did. Mm-hmm. Like you're thinking I'm doing this all on my own. And you know, I'd started this text thread just to tell people where I was going, and if you know, let people know I'm okay because I'm gone. Like I'm gone for the next 30 plus days. And it was like Finn and Johnny K and you and Who else was on there? My sister.
Sister.
My sister was key. She just kept that thing going.
Yeah.
You know?
And what's funny is every once in a while, his sister would chime in. I talked to him today, blah, 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 blah. And I just didn't feel like, you'd call me too.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel like, yeah, I talked to him, everything's good. I didn't feel like, because I didn't know who these people were.
Right.
Like, I know they care about him. I know all this. It was like,
You didn't hear it from me.
yeah.
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 And I mean, it was tough. You know, it's humbling to get on the phone with people that have known you as long as you guys have, and the friends in my life. They're all my good friends are like 20 plus years, you know, and
You say you don't have any friends.
well, I didn't realize, you don't realize what you have until you go through this. Like any kind of struggle, any kind of deep hole of depression, like you don't know what you have until you realize that they're there, you know, but you have to take that first step. You know, you have to take that step and say, I'm broken. I need to get fixed. I need to figure this shit out. And you have to be self-aware enough. At least I had to be self-aware enough to let people in, to know that I needed other people. Like I couldn't do this on my own.
Right.
You know, like the first step was on my own. Like that's all me.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I got myself
Yep.
there.
yeah. But then once you get there, you got to figure out how you're going to continue. You know, because the path doesn't change. It gets harder once you get there.
Right.
You know, once you go to rehab, like it's not like you just wake up one day and you feel great. Like you feel like shit 90% of the time.
Of course.
You know, your anxiety's through the roof. You know, you're around a bunch of people you don't know. And so that text thread, it kind of kept me sane because it's like, I know that when I go home, I have these people,
Yeah.
right? So, and I talk to them more now than I ever did. Like my friend lives in Kansas. I talk to him like once a week, you know. My sister, I didn't talk to her for years. Like we just didn't talk. And now I talk to her and, you know, Kim, I love you. But she's going through some stuff too. But, yeah, I realized that I had a support network where I tried to do everything on my own before that. Like everything was on my shoulders by my own making.
I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. You didn't need anybody else's help, and you couldn't let anybody in because they might notice something. They might see something. You might say something like.
I didn't want them to think less of me, you know, like, and that's the twisted addict mind. The addict mind wants you to be unhappy. It wants you to be sick. It wants you to die. It wants to kill you,
Yes.
you know, so as long as you allow that addict mind to take rent-free space in your head, you're not going to get better. You know, you have to shut that door and open another one. And the door you open is so much scarier than the one you just closed.
Yeah.
And that's letting people in. That's putting faith in the human condition and putting faith in your friends that they are your friends,
Yep.
not acquaintances, not people you just know. You know, you put that faith that they are going to accept you no matter what you go through because they know who you are inside.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm graced because I have that.
Right.
You know, with Steve, with his wife, Alexa, she's amazing. My sister, the people that I talk to every day, John, you know, like I have that. So, you know, getting out of rehab and coming home, you know, my biggest fear was that I had to teach myself how to be sober. As in, like, I had to teach myself how to live sober. You know,
You were going to meetings 24/7. Your life revolved around going to those meetings.
Yeah, I went to, like-
it was bizarre, but that was your support group.
Yeah.
You'd come to my house and you'd be like, I can be there for 20 minutes because I have to go to this meeting here. I'm like, why even bother? He's like, you know what, let me look around. Oh, there's a meeting a little closer. I can stay a little longer. And you're doing 3, 4, 5 meetings a day.
I mean, that's what I had to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I totally understood that, and that is, I don't want to say this, but that's your personality. You're addicted. You got addicted to going to those meetings.
well, that's the beauty of 12 steps.
And that's what got you through it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the 12-step programs. Like, so you walk into this room, and there's 20 people there. You don't know a single one from a hole in the wall. But what you do know is they're all there because they're alcoholics. So anything you say in that room is going to resonate. They're going to understand. And I wasn't ready to be around the general public. Like, I was too shaky to be able to go to the grocery store and drive past the liquor store and trust that I wasn't going to stop, right? So for me, it was like I had my therapist. He's amazing. He said, get a calendar, schedule your days 2 or 3 days in advance. And you would look at my calendar, and there was 7 meetings on a day. Like I had a contingent meeting for the contingent meeting for the contingent meeting. So if I couldn't make this one, I go to this one. If I didn't make this one, I go to this one. If I didn't make this one, I go to this one. And it helped because my day was like, it would say like 8 a.m., AA Doodle Church, 9:30 golf, 4 o'clock AA meeting Cranberry, 7 o'clock AA meeting here, 9 o'clock dinner. Like I broke it down into like every little activity that I did. And I still wasn't going to the gym yet because I still was afraid to go to the gym.
Sure.
But yeah, it's
But like
my life
now-
has been amazing since I got home.
That's exactly where I was going to lead you, because coming out, and I understand him a lot when he says things like this, because I did the same thing. You have to relearn yourself.
See, I hear you guys talk about it all the time, and I want to understand, but I've never.
Think of it this way. So you're a stay-at-home dad, right? You take care of your 2 beautiful kids. Hi, Ava. Hi, Zach. So you have become in a pattern. You've learned a pattern of behavior, right? Like it's get up in the morning, get the kids up, do this, do this. You do these things throughout the day, right? Those are your responsibilities through the day. Think of it the same way with alcohol. Like our body becomes dependent on the alcohol.
Yeah.
And
I understand that.
So when you take that away, you have a void.
Yeah.
So if your kids just vanished one day for a day, granted you'd be jumping up and down cheering, but you wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing for addicts and alcoholics. Like you have to learn how to live sober. So you have to retrain your brain to do things that before you would do under the influence of the substance. So now it's like when I go golfing, what do I do? Like what do I do now when I go golfing to make sure I don't drink? I take an energy drink with me. I take a snack. I have my music. Like I fill that empty space. I feel that space in my brain that is so tied into the addiction. I fill it with good things. I fill it with stimulus, things that make me feel good. And that helps me get through the round of golf. Like every time I go golfing, I'm not gonna lie, I get done, I'm like, God, I would love to have a Jack Daniels and Diet Coke right now.
Sure.
But the demons only surface for a minute. You just have to outlast that thought.
That's right.
And that's like the hardest thing to learn, is that the thought only lasts as long as you let it. Once you can, reframe things and check them as they come into your brain, you begin to get better at diffusing the bomb before it goes off. So when I have that thought about drinking, the first thing I think about is, well, do you want to go back to where you were in May?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hell no. That place sucked.
Yeah.
So, over the last year, I've gotten better at knowing when I'm having those feelings, and I've gotten better at realizing that I have to do something about it. I am by no means recovered. I will be in recovery for the rest of my life. Some alcoholics and addicts say they're recovered. Good for them. I'm not. I'm going to have to work at this forever.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're always going to have that trigger in your brain. You're always going to have that little angry person that wants to kill you. There's a part of our brain that literally says, do this thing. You might die.
It makes us feel good.
So we have this friend, he's been sober about 25 years now. And the way he became sober was he's driving his car, gets stuck in a field. Son, what are you doing here? I pulled in here, couldn't pull out. Cop gets in his car, drives right out. He was sober at that point, but he's like, I need to do something.
Right.
And I mean, he was the craziest of all of us.
He was
insane.
He did a little this, a little that. Yeah.
Yeah, now he's a dad. What, 3 kids?
2 kids.
2 kids.
2 kids, incredible wife.
Yep.
Successful as all can be. He's just a great guy.
I mean, I'm jealous because
I went on a vacation with him to one of our fraternity brothers' weddings down on the beach last year. And everyone's having a good time. Woo! Like old times. And he's like, I'm good. Drinking my seltzer water. Yep, good.
I just talked to him a couple days ago, and it's the first conversation I've had with him in since 2017. And we're going to get together for lunch and go shoot the shit, man. But I mean, we had a real conversation about addiction.
Yeah.
For like 20 minutes. Just I was picking his brain on how he's doing it, and I think that's one of the big things, as a recovering addict, is we have to turn to the people around us to,
My ear's itchy.
oh, Jesus.
Because you have 12 holes in your head.
Oh, my God.
I actually have 18 altogether. Thank you very much.
Anyway.
Reminds me, you got to tell us today at the end of the episode.
Yeah, definitely. You got to tell us your rings at the end of the episode. But we have to use the resources around us, and that is other alcoholics. It is other addicts. It's our therapists. It's, our friends. Like, hey, man, how do you do it? How do you go out and have one drink? Okay, yeah, awesome. That doesn't work for me. Let me go to the next person, see what they say.
I'm going to shoot off a little bit here, but you were talking about fighting that demon for that 1 minute or however long it takes to outlast the demon. Is this how you're going to do it with the car?
Actually, I made an agreement with my therapist that if I trade my car in before it's paid off, I have to buy a Prius.
Because this guy goes through cars like people go through tennis shoes.
6 cars in 4 years.
Yeah.
But, he...
You are always pulling with something new and cranberry,
Oh, dude,
man.
yeah. Well, the last car, the Civic,
Yeah.
I had to sell that because I bought it drunk. I drove drunk to the dealership to buy the car and bought the car drunk. I drove it off the lot drunk. So
Yeah.
for me, it was like just a big reminder of what my life was like. So, I had to get rid of it. I was like, this is like the last thing. I moved out of my apartment. I moved to a different apartment. I keep going to therapy. I'm doing all the things I needed to do, but something was still bugging me about that car. It was just like I would get in it, and it would remind me, like I'd be like, oh, I had a bottle there, and I had a bottle here, and I had a bottle in the
It
trunk.
was amazing where you had bottles on that thing.
Yeah. Dude, I taped one underneath the hood.
What?
I taped a pint bottle underneath the hood.
Wow.
What, so like you're changing your windshield wiper fluid?
If I ran out, I had one left.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because you didn't take that one out.
I found out the day I took my car back to get rid of it.
That would have been fantastic.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's shocking, man.
Here's a present for the new mechanics on it.
Thanks
But yeah,
for
like
taking my
I was
car.
like, I went in there to fill the windshield wiper fluid to be a nice guy. And I
What'd I
look in there,
say?
I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm not gonna lie. It was like, nobody will know.
Come drink me.
Nobody will know.
Nobody will know.
Nobody will know. But I would know.
And that'd drive you nuts.
And that's the accountability thing.
Okay, now we're going to get to the good part, the happy.
No, we're not talking about my sex life.
Ew.
Lack thereof, you should say, right?
Pfft.
Do I need to start talking carnitas?
No, stop. Stop. Behave.
Stop.
Behave.
Okay, so January,
I'm biting my tongue.
when all this started. Now, how great are you feeling now? From January to this point. I mean, January was like one of those months where you wanted to stab us all.
He wants to stab people all the time.
He doesn't want to stab me usually. He usually wants to like grab my head and just shake it.
This is
the same-
true.
That's the same.
This is true.
But I just want to let you two know
Yeah.
that without you two, he would not be where he's at right now. Like, we'll talk, and he'll be like, JB, Cal's, they're like, they're my people. They're my family now. And he's like, I wouldn't be where I'm at without these two. He has another friend
Happy to be a part of that.
that he's
Yeah, I'm honored to be a part of that.
talks with. I don't know if he talks with him anymore, but he was supposed to be a part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he talks about you two nonstop. And thank you for what you guys have done,
Yeah.
because we like this Mark
Yeah.
so much better.
Absolutely.
Even though
Good.
though Fun Mark was crazy and fun, but we like this Mark a lot better. And we want to see this Mark around a lot longer.
And he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. But to your question, January and February were rough. It's the closest I came to drinking. Because, like, I just wanted this thing, like, no matter where it goes, I wanted it off the ground.
You're
Yeah.
a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I have to let go, and I'm learning to let go.
Well, it wasn't only that, but we had all those technical things like,
Oh
my
gosh, the
we
first couple of weeks were
3 weeks in a row.
rough.
3 weeks in a
Yes.
row, we couldn't even record a single frame
Yeah.
Yeah.
until we got Keith in here.
Thank you. Hey,
Paid a guy $200.
Hey, Keith.
Studio me. You guys rock.
Still calling out to you, Keith.
Thank you.
You're the
Appreciate
man.
you very much.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I just like, when when I first came up with the idea of a podcast, and Finn and I were talking about it, and he was all in, and like I didn't realize what I was actually doing yet. I didn't realize why I was doing it or what I was trying to do. Like this was going to be just about addiction, just about recovery, and it morphed over time, and it became this thing where, I am happiest. I am most content when I'm doing this. Because the potential that one person out there listens to something I say and goes, that guy's a freaking idiot, but
He makes sense.
something he said was something I can take with me, or something Kel said is something I can take with me, or something JB says, or something Steve says, or something Keith says. This drives me through the week. Not Monday through Friday, because I don't work a Monday through Friday job, but Sunday morning, I'm so relieved because I know I'm not going to sleep till like 9 o'clock, and I've been up for like 36 hours. But I know that I get to see you guys, and I know that we get to talk about something that's important to us.
Yeah.
Whether you guys think it's important, we don't care. It's the fact that it's important to us, and we feel it's important enough to talk about.
But we're still super excited if you're still watching us.
Yes, all 27 of you. Thank you so much. We appreciate
We
it.
have
YouTube and Spotify,
100 plus
guys.
views on some of those episodes. All right.
Yeah.
Or listening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
Yeah,
listening.
there's a lot of people listening too.
But now that we're up and running and recording every week, like it drives me through the week. Like I suffer through my 65-hour weeks just to get to Sunday.
You remember how back in the beginning we talked about how when he was in Allentown, he'd wake up, go to work, drive to my house Friday night, leave Monday morning at 4, drive truck. This is This is exactly what you just said.
I mean, I'm an addict, right?
That's what
But this is not an addiction. This is
but
good
no,
stuff.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
this
saying,
is
I'm saying,
cathartic.
I'm saying, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, you were doing the same thing with us.
Yeah, there's always been something. I've always gotten into a
keeps
pattern
you-
to
keeps
keep
you
me
happy.
from like completely falling apart.
Yeah.
Right. So with the breakup, it was coming to see you guys because,
Yeah.
like I said, out of all my friends, no offense to anybody else, you know who you are, but I've known you the longest, and you've been there for everything. So every time I had a bad moment, I turned to him. Every time I lost my way, I turned to him. Then it became I turned to his wife because
She's smarter.
she's more stubborn, number one, and she's more strict. Like she's going to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
If I tell her I'm going to do something, I don't do it. I'm going to hear about it. So without these two, primarily, I don't make it. Period.
You guys are starting to fill that void from us.
Hey, you're
My
still integral.
My family's getting bigger.
Here's your new girlfriend.
My family is no longer determined by my behaviors. It's determined by my choices.
Yeah.
Now I choose who I'm around, right? Like the people I used to spend time with, I don't.
Oh, 100%. Me too.
Same here.
Same.
People,
Places and things. Yep.
I cut ties
You know?
with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you
Sure.
have to. You have to. But, like, the thing is, there's so many, like, profound things that people say, right? At the end of the day, I am less of a dickhead when I'm sober.
Yeah.
So that means I have the ability to be nicer to other people. I have the ability to do things for other people and remove myself from the equation. It doesn't make me a martyr. It doesn't make me better. It just means that this is what I do to keep that drink out of my hand. So to a base level, I'm selfish because I'm doing this because I know it helps me. But the bigger goal is to help others. And as long as we can do this, I'll never stop.
I have to go back to something you said, but I'm going to ask Steve.
Oh, God.
Is he less of an asshole now that he's not
Dickhead.
drinking?
Asshole, no. Dickhead, yes.
She said dickhead. So he'd always put himself in these situations where he had to be a dickhead.
Okay.
we don't do those things anymore.
Sure.
Like, we don't go to the bars or anything like that.
I still owe you a sandwich from Ocean City.
It's another story. Also the same, the story, like, we finished this long round and he had that whole bottle. Go up to our condo. He's like, I'm going to the beach. Gets in the elevator, goes down. We're looking out. There goes Mark. Shirt off, tattoos everywhere, chiseled frame, and we're all like, he's going to score on those two chicks down there. Goes, talks to him. They look at him. He's like, man. He goes, falls into the water, gets out, walks back up. Mark. That's what Mark did. I know he doesn't remember that. Because
Wait, you literally just like fell? Like fell down?
No, he went into the water and
Okay.
jumped into the water. He got shot down by these two girls.
Oh, he got shot down by them.
We don't know because we were 7 or 8 stories above looking down the ocean.
It must have been great being my friend for the last 30 years just to watch the shit that I would do. The debacles and the garbage dumpster fires that I would get myself in.
No, but you've always been there. You've always been a solid friend. Golfing, it's just like that's what we do. It's
therapy.
yeah. Even for me, like, I found out my mom died unexpectedly. I drive home. I shouldn't have driven. Drive home, talk to my dad. I'm like, I'm going golfing. My brother-in-law's there. Didn't tell him. I just went. Mark was off somewhere else, but yeah, I went golfing because that's where we go to clear our heads. But still, like, you're an asshole. You'll always be an asshole.
I hope so.
You'll always be a dickhead.
I hope so.
You're not as big of a dickhead now, but you're always there for me whenever I need it. Even though when you were a raging alcoholic, it was harder to get you around because you couldn't be around.
I mean, I couldn't be around your kids like that. You know, that's one of the things that, like,
And I respect you for that.
yeah, it's one of the things is, like, you know, you have beautiful kids, and, you know, it's like my past relationship. Like, a reason why that part of the reason that relationship ended was because I didn't want those kids to see what was going on anymore. Like, it wasn't healthy for them. Mm-hmm. And it's not good for your kids to see a drunk coming into their house and hanging out, and, you know, because then they think that's okay.
Because you'd always come over real late at night after they'd be asleep.
Yeah.
And we'd sit down, talk and whatnot, and I'd wake you up in the morning. You'd go off, do your thing.
I mean, yeah, I'm a dickhead, I'm an asshole, but the difference now is I don't have to regret what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to try to remember. I don't have to make excuses. I don't have to lie. I don't have to remember what I said the night before. You know, I am who I am. I do what I do. I make mistakes. But the difference is now that I hold myself accountable. Mm-hmm. You know, my responsibility is not based off of what other people think. You know, other people aren't holding me accountable for my actions. I am. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time in my life I've been able to do that. You know, it's always been like, Steve would be like, you gotta knock it off. Stop being a douche. You know, don't do this, don't do that. You know, and now it's like, I catch myself when I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing or acting in a way I shouldn't be acting, and I try to correct it myself.
And he'd be pissed off when hey, stop. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it'd be. I'd be like, I'm fine. All right, whatever, dude. You know, now it's like, okay, okay, maybe I can rephrase it this way. Now I'm receptive to the opinions of others. I'm human. Like, I make mistakes every day. And, you know, as addicts and alcoholics and people suffering from mental health issues, like, it's okay. Like, when you get past, I keep using the term demons because for me that's just what it seems like. It's like this deep down poison inside my being that just wants to tear me apart. Mm-hmm. You know, it wants to break me down piece by piece by piece so I can't put it back together. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that, you know, as we travel down the road of recovery from whatever it is, cancer, you know, it doesn't matter, anything. I think we start to learn that we're stronger than we think we are, you know, but we're only as strong as who we surround ourselves with.
Yes.
So if I surround myself with weak people, if I surround myself with people that are just like me, as in like I'm not active now, but people that still are actively getting drunk all the time, that's not going to work. Like my one friend, him and his wife, they still drink, right? They get, whenever I see them, I go meet them at a bar, but I'm like, I'm going to be here for an hour and I'm leaving, and the one time his wife was like, do you think you're ever going to be able to have a drink with us again? We miss that. And I look at her, I'm like, I would like to say I can. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know I can have a drink. But that one,
That is the addict.
it's the 20 after that I can't control.
Yeah.
I can have one drink and be okay.
I will.
I've done it before, but that only lasts so long.
I will slap you silly.
Oh my God, I'll kick
No,
your ass.
you guys understand what I'm saying, right?
We do
I
understand.
know that if I have one, I can do it. But I know that that's going to lead to more. At some point,
Alexa would scold you.
she'd shoot me. At some point it would lead to more. At some point it would lead me down the same road I was already down.
Yeah.
And that road
Better
is
to resist
closed.
the devil and he will flee.
That road is under construction. It is closed for traffic, and I'm not going down it again.
Good.
So, a year's a big thing for people in 12-step programs too. Like now, I finally will be telling my story, in meetings, because AA has an unwritten rule that you usually wait about a year before you start giving they call it a lead meeting, where you go to another AA meeting and you tell your story. You have an hour and you just lay it out, where you were, what you did, and how your life has changed and how you are now. So I get to do that now within the confines of AA. I mean, granted, I do it here, right?
You can be a sponsor now too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and, whether or not I do that, who knows? I mean, this fulfills me. It doesn't replace AA by any means. It's just another format, another platform for me to deal with my shit,
Yeah. Fair
A
enough.
fun one at that.
Yeah, it is fun, especially when we run out of memory and the thing stops. And But yeah, I mean, it's
Or you
good.
forget a chord.
Or you forget a chord.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Like, life is good. I mean, this is the happiest I've ever been. This is the healthiest I've ever been. I'm out of shape, but I'm okay because I feel good. Like healthy. My kidneys recovered finally, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. They were shot when I went to treatment.
Sure.
They were in the toilet.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, the liver was fine. Hey, if anybody needs a liver, I got one. It's pretty strong.
Hello, Cheyenne.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, I mean, that's it. It's just, like you said, it's a celebration. This is a
Yes.
big day for me.
Today is
It's a big day for you, too, you guys, and the people in my life, because you've seen me go through this transition. You've seen me change. You've seen me go from, for lack of a better term, rock bottom to where I am now. And I've got a long ways to go. Like, this doesn't stop just because I hit a year. Just because I don't get a chip every month anymore doesn't mean I'm good.
Well, I mean, there's somebody I love very much in my life. I'm not going to disclose who they are because they value their anonymity. Ugh.
We'll try that again.
No, you say it.
Anonymity.
Animosity.
Anonymity.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they say.
They still go to a meeting, sometimes two, a day, and they just had their 40th
Yeah. Everybody's
Wow.
different.
sober.
And that's another great thing about this 12-step programs. It's how you want to do it. As long as you do the 12 steps, as long as you put your all into that, and you do what you're supposed to do. They call it a suggested plan of recovery, but it literally is a format. It's a roadmap. Do this shit, and you're going to feel better.
Yeah,
It works. But the thing is, I still go to meetings. I don't go as much, but I go to the meetings that I have to, and it's nice to humble myself and to remind me where I was and that these people were the ones that were there for me. So I can never turn my back on them. It's just the way it is.
That's how my Sunday meeting is. My Sunday meeting is, that was the first meeting I went to. We good? Okay. It's the first meeting I went to, and there's still the same people. Like, it's a small meeting. Everybody gets a chance to share. But, like, I disappeared for a little while, and, like, one of them called me and was like, "Where are you at? Are you okay? Come back." But, like, remembering walking in those doors, how sick I was, how broken I was, how helpless. I was helpless. I didn't even know, I did not know how to take care of me. I could take care of you. I could take care of you. I could take care of you. I had no idea how to take care of me. And then now I see other people coming in and I can help them through that. So, like, I understand you going to a meeting and now new people are coming in and you're like, dude, I was there. I was there. I saw it, you know?
Yeah, the kind of cool thing is I got thrown into it pretty quickly when I got home because I had some friends that were going through some problems, and fresh out of recovery, you don't think you know everything, but it's fresh in your mind what you went through and what you had to do to get through it. So, you know, I was more than willing to give information that I had, you know, but that's also a slippery slope for somebody who comes out of rehab because, you know, it's hard to watch somebody suffer when you know how it feels and you know that there's nothing you can do until they're ready.
Right.
They have to make that decision on their own. When they're ready to do it, they'll do it, you know, and hopefully they do it before the disease kills them.
You
know?
also have to be really careful when you're first recovering that you're not taking away from your, like, we say it a lot, and everybody, you know, considers selfish a negative connotation. But in terms of recovery, it is paramount that you are selfish and that you look inside yourself and that you know, I need to do these things for me to make sure I'm okay so that I can help other people.
Yeah, you've got to take care of yourself before anything else works.
Right.
I mean, we're going to have to wrap this up here in a couple minutes, but the number one thing that has kept me sober and kept me on the right track is knowing that my life will continue to be the way it is and get better. I'm better than I was yesterday. I'll be better tomorrow than I am today, as long as I do the things that I'm doing.
Yep.
Now, my program is not the same as everybody else's program. You know, my program is this, and AA, and talking to my friends, you know, and doing the best I can to help others. You know, that's my program.
Yeah.
As long as I stick to those things, no matter what anybody else tells me to do, you know, you have to believe in God. You have to go to church. Well, I'm open to hearing that. I'm open to listening to that. But for me, that's not what's working. You know, so I may be a little off the path of AA here and there because, you know, there's certain things they want you to do that I'm not doing. But, you know, as long as I am self-aware and I pay attention to myself and how I feel and what I'm thinking, I will have the ability to stay sober. The minute that I close my mind, the minute that I am not open to new things and open to opinions, is when I'm probably going to have a problem because, you know, I didn't know what I was doing when I got home. I depended on everyone else to help me. So now I get to do the same.
I can't remember what they say in NA. It's the acronym is OWN, and it's open-mindedness, willingness, and something N, and I can't remember what the N one was. But that's one of the things we say in our readings, is that you have to have the open-mindedness and the willingness to take this in, to take this part, you know, of your journey in, so that you can utilize it to stay well.
Well, there's always a one ODAAT. One day at a time.
One day.
I like that.
Isn't that...
Holy crap.
Hey, John, did you wake up?
I did not. I didn't notice that. I didn't read it.
It was so appropriate today.
Wow.
I keep that in my kitchen because I'm in my kitchen the most.
Well, this is that time in the show where I'd like to thank a couple people that have done some really good things. Jake Miklo, True Believer Jiu-Jitsu, check him out. It's a great place to go to learn some discipline, some good mental health practices. The guy's amazing. His school is amazing. InspiringSobriety.com. She makes great clothes, and it's all about sobriety, and it's all about being free of addiction. And then Trek Management, who allows us to film in their facility, gardens, the residences at the gardens, and ABHL. Check out those properties. They're amazing. They're trying to fill them. So, yeah, anybody have any last words before we close this thing out, Kels?
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of me, too.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what we've built here. I think that we're doing really good things to help people. And
Yes. Earring time.
I have baby ostrich earrings on today.
Wow, very, very cute.
And they're really cool because they're aromatherapy, and you could put like a little dab of essential oil on it, and then you can smell like your essential oil, like roses.
Well, just make sure they all stay in your ears when you bring the headset off this time.
Yeah, I know. I ripped them all out like 2 times ago. They were gone.
You'll have that.
Steve?
Congratulations on the 1 year.
Thanks, man.
Lex sends her like love and wish she could have been here, but 2 kids at home, we've got to take care of them, and it's what you've become in the last 12 months is nothing than like less than spectacular. You're still a shithead on the golf course.
Hey, I'm wearing a shirt that says, ho, ho, hold my beer.
Look at you.
So I'm still an idiot.
Yes.
I have to pick my key tag up tonight, remember?
I know. Good shit.
We didn't talk about that.
Congratulations on 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, good
y'all.
job.
6
No.
months.
So
Thank you.
you're going to pick up your 6-month tag tonight.
I am. I'm going to pick up my 6-month tag tonight.
Congrats.
I can't wait till you hit a year because you're going to.
I am. I definitely am, because this is a journey that I deserve. My daughter deserves. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be healthy.
Amen.
I do. I deserve these things.
And these 2 will kick your ass.
Oh,
You
definitely.
ever get a microphone to the side of the head?
Oh,
What
yeah,
happened?
yeah.
Both of you.
Just
WWE style.
right. Thump. Anyway.
JB, what do you got to say?
Congratulations, Mark.
Thanks, man.
Very proud of you. I'm just very happy for you. Steve, it was a pleasure meeting you. It's been fun.
I'm sure we'll meet again.
Yes. I would like
Thanks to Dawn Morton for checking in from New Jersey.
And then,
Love you.
anybody who's listening, hey, oh yeah, Dawn, thank you for tuning in too.
Yeah,
That was
thanks,
awesome.
Dawn. Can't wait to
And,
meet you.
Thank you guys for listening. We do appreciate it. And hey, think about this. If you're having a bad day, you're listening to this, that means you still have breath in your lungs. Glory be to God. You're still alive. Things could always be worse. Keep your head on straight, and good things will come your way. Back to you guys.
All right,
Very
well,
inspirational.
I
Thank you.
thank you for being here, Steve, man. You've been here for 30 years. You're going to be here for 30 more. Kels, love you. JB, love you.
Love you.
If you're out there and you're struggling, all you got to do is reach out. Help is everywhere. Don't be blind to it. Just remember that, you are not alone. And if you want it, you can take it. I'm living proof because, I never thought this was possible. So now I'm gearing towards year number 2. And remember, there's always a seat here at the Steel City Roundtable for you. And we'll see you guys soon. Love you all.
Bye.
See you.